All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Triggered Coffee with the Kid, Yoga Leroy, aka Leon Walker. Good to see you. Good morning. It is January 6th, 9 a.m. on the stream on time, man. I have been extremely motivated. I've been waking up early. I've been meditating. I've been grounding myself. I've been diving back into my toolbox, baby, and it feels so good to be on a schedule, on a plan. And this is how I plan to move every single day this season, this year, baby. 2026 is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. We are going to see what the chat is talking about today. That's always an exciting thing because you never know what this live streaming chat is going to be up to. But I'm not going to pay too much attention to the chat if the comments are ridiculous, as most of them usually are, because I got something to talk about today. As I learned yesterday, when I got something to talk about, this 30 minutes flows. And I definitely have something to talk about today, something I experienced on Sunday. And I am going to dive back into it because it's still something that needs to be discussed. If you did not miss last night's Comedy Fitness Live, Cats Out the Bag. Yesterday, triggered comedy live stream. I talked about a situation that I dealt with somebody, a well-known comic that came down and was on a show with me on Sunday, and he went out of his way to belittle all the rest of the comics that were on the show. Black comics, by the way. And it was just so out of the ordinary, especially for somebody that I had a relationship with, I've worked with. He was on a project of mine. Cat's out of the bag. We had a good time talking about this experience last night. Comedy Fitness Live episode. Go check that out because it was a blast. I definitely got that out of my system. I definitely got that out of my system. All right, they slide into the chat. Okay. Nothing nothing worth talking about yet in the chat. This is Triggered Coffee. If you have something that's coming up for you, I talk about my triggers. I talk about how I'm handling my triggers. I talk about the tools that I use to move through this journey in Los Angeles, working at being a comedian, working at being an actor, working at being a producer, now working at being a streamer, content creator, post all these things. It's a lot. A lot of things come up, a lot of things kind of jump in the way. So this is what this stream is about. This is the Triggered Coffee live stream. Now, to dive into the title of this show, Los Angeles lacks leadership and is filled with a lack mentality. And I have witnessed this firsthand by somebody you would least expect it from, because this person is established. This person gets stage time. This person has TV and film credits. He's working. So it made no sense. It was so shocking when I found out and experienced this person literally go out of his way to try to belittle and block young comics that were performing on the same show that he was performing. And what is the most disappointing about this person? And I'll say his name, Jay Washington. What is the most disappointing thing about Jay Washington is He's in his 40s. He's a he's a he's an adult man. He's a grown up playing these little kid games. And this is the thing I'm seeing about a lot of adults in Los Angeles that have this lack mentality, this young mentality, this blocking mentality, as if nobody else deserves to even work at their craft. It does not make sense. I have been getting used to this type of thing in Los Angeles. A lot of people kind of have this strategy I talked about yesterday on the stream. A lot of people have this strategy of hating on each other to move ahead, blocking each other, gossiping to the gatekeepers, the producers and the bookers. But the fact that this person went down to San Diego and brought that strategy with him, from my understanding, from what I heard, he showed up before any of the comics arrived and spent, this is what I was told, up to 30 minutes talking to the people that produced the show about how the comics on the show weren't good comics or real comics, to use his exact words, weren't real comics. He's like the Harlem Globetrotter of hate. That's crazy. I mean, it's something I still I'm still trying to process and understand what would possess somebody, especially somebody of his stature, from the outside looking in, somebody that has been getting stage time, somebody that has been, performing, booking, working as an actor. What would possess somebody to go out of their way to hate, especially hate on black comics, as if it's not hard enough? As if this industry is not hard enough. We got this dude, the Harlem Globetrotter of haters, traveling around. I want to do this because I have, number one, I've gotten all the trigger the trigger in me out of my system. Last night's live stream, Comedy Fitness, that was good for my soul. That was good for my spirit, man, because two of the comics that was on the show where he came down and said these things were on my podcast last night. They're on my live show last night. And it was healing in a way to joke and talk about this with other comics that experience this type of just like unprovoked hate. Unprovoked. I haven't seen this guy in over a year. I've known him for a few years. I've worked with him once or twice, but I haven't seen him in over a year. Unprovoked. It was something that he just, I don't know. So this is what I want to do. Now that I got it all out of my system, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to invite this guy, Jay Washington, to come on the Triggered Coffee live stream because this needs to be addressed. This type of, I don't even know what you want to call it. This type of hate. I don't know what else to call it. It needs to be addressed, especially in the black community in Los Angeles. There's not a lot of us out here. And I want to understand. I want to understand why somebody of his stature thinks that that's part of his job. That's part of the thing that he is supposed to do for what? I want to understand the intention behind it. And that's where we're when I talk about leadership, this lacks leadership. This is a guy that this is a guy that we, myself, the younger comics that were on the show, would be looking up to. We'd be studying his craft because he's been doing it for a while. He's funny. He knows his act. He's somebody that we would be looking up to if it wasn't the fact that he is somebody that's out there trying to sabotage other comics for his gain in order for him to get ahead. How you do one thing is how you do everything. You can't tell me that he goes to San Diego and does this and does not do this in LA. This is probably how this guy operates on a regular basis. And I just want to understand. I just want to understand why, because that's not the leadership that, number one, feeds your momentum. It's a low vibration. That's traveling in a low vibration. Now, you might get some results in that, with that strategy, with that method. And he's obviously got some results. It's clear that he's must have got some results by operating in this way in Los Angeles. But it's also clear to me that he's not happy with his results. Because if you were happy with your results, you wouldn't need to try to belittle other people that are trying to do what you're doing or get where you're going. So the strategy, even though you might have seen some results, hating on people, blocking people, spreading rumors, gossiping about people, although you might have gotten some results, it's clearly not the results that you're looking for. So maybe it's time to switch up. I want to give you an opportunity, my brother. Know and believe when you talk about me, when you put your name in my mouth, I'm not afraid. It's called accountability, my friend. It's called accountability, and it is time that we start holding each other accountable through the good and through the bad, through the positive, through the negative, through the gains and through the mistakes. I feel Jay Washington made a mistake. I don't know what triggered him on Sunday to go out of his way to try to belittle the other comics that are on the show. But that's what this platform is for. That's what the Triggered Coffee, Triggered Yogi platform is for. I want to talk about these triggers. I want to talk about what's coming up and what is making people react and act a certain way that could be out of character. Now, I have met this person before. Like, I have experienced him before, and I've had good experiences with him before. So this really felt maybe a little bit out of character. It really felt maybe a little bit misguided, misled, or misunderstood. And listen, I want to understand, baby. I want to understand. I want to move forward. I'm here to connect. I'm here to grow. So if you're here for that, if you're here for growth, and you think you'd find value in talking about what triggered you, Jay Washington, I'm talking to you, Jay Washington. If you want to talk about what triggered you to make you act that way, I welcome you, bro. Come to the Trigger Coffee pod, Trigger Coffee live stream. I'll pour you a cup of coffee. We'll sit down and we'll talk about it. We'll talk through it. We'll see what we could do to grow from it as a lesson, man. And that's leadership, bro. And we need more. LA needs more leadership. LA needs more black leadership. Grounded, black, accountable leaders moving forward, building each other up. That's what I'm about. Now, I'm not afraid of any of the God. Listen, I got a family. I got a home, I got a wife, I got a son. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of any rumors. I'm not afraid of what you got to say about me. It's already been said. It's already been said. That's why I built this studio. I built this studio because, you know, I've had issues in my past. I've reacted poorly in my past. I've, I lost it at a comedy club and I got banned from a comedy club 5 years ago. I've made mistakes in my past and I've learned from those mistakes. But sometimes you make a mistake, and even if you learn from it, the damage is already done. I found out the hard way. I have found out the hard way. I've ruined some relationships in Los Angeles, and it's kind of shifted me to start creating and doing my own thing and building my own studio, and that's what brought me to where I am here today with you right now. God has a plan. There's a reason for everything, man. And that's my journey. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, I believe in second chances. I believe in redemption stories. I believe that people sometimes just make mistakes and people sometimes act out of character. And because of all the noise, it's a lot of noise happening in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people and places and things. Just we're all bouncing off of each other, and we're trying to figure things out, and we're trying to find a way to succeed. And sometimes we operate or act or react in a certain way that is not in the highest vibration. So again, it was a weird situation. It was a weird incident that happened on Sunday. I'm choosing to forgive uh, this guy, and I believe in building up and working on these relationships. If he's willing, we could talk it out. Come to the Trigger Coffee Pod. We'll sit down. We'll have a cup of coffee. I would love to hear why that was something that you felt necessary to do. I would love to hear it. Let's see what's going on in the chat. What's up? What's up, man? Have I watched Friday the 13th game day? No. I've never been really into Friday the 13th. Did you watch the finale of Stranger Things? I did. I did. If you look on my feed, you will see I already reviewed Stranger Things. I reviewed it a couple of times. I reviewed it with my son. It was it had its good moments. It had its good moments, but it was definitely not my favorite season. I give it a 7, strong 7. 2026 has been a roller coaster and it's only day 6. It's been a good roller coaster for me, man. But yes, I can relate to that. It has been a roller coaster. I mean, I've been so grateful to be going down to San Diego and performing at the Laugh Factory in San Diego. But the roller coaster never stops, and that's the thing about this journey, man. It's always going to be up and down. The trick is to find a way to move towards your highest vibration even when there's a dip. Even when there's a dip, even when things aren't making sense, even when, somebody is throwing you something that is just like out of nowhere. Like what happened to me on Sunday. And processing it and and adjusting to it in a healthy way rather than reacting to it. Now, I'll say when this was happening, when I was during Sunday, I had a lot of emotions coming up, a lot of emotions. But I have enough tools to take a step back, ground myself, go to my breath, you know. Let it let it marinate. And I'll say, man, over these last couple of days, uh, the way I process that situation, extremely healthy for me. Extremely. Which country in Europe would I like to go? Haven't really thought about it. A Europe trip, any place in Europe would be, I guess, fun. I don't know. I have not really been out of the country at all. Um, Mexico, Canada, that's it. Puerto Rico, but that's in the country. But that felt out the country. That's really been the lesson so far. It's all how you react to what's given to you. Amen. Yeah, man. It's really about how you react, and that's why I really kind of make everything about my triggers. I'm working on a one man show called Triggered Yogi. I call this the Triggered Coffee podcast because or live stream because your triggers never stop. I mean, it does not matter how much therapy you do, anger management, counseling, workshops, ayahuasca, it don't matter. Triggers, resentments, they're going to come up because we're all here and we all have different personalities, different thought processes, different experiences, and we're kind of bouncing off of each other. One thing I've had to like tell myself over and over again, and I think more people do this than just me, but I had to tell myself that I have no idea what other people are thinking, because sometimes you're reacting off of what you think somebody's thinking about you, or like someone makes an expression, or someone doesn't say hi to you or walks past you. I have to continue to tell myself they're living in their experience, and it's not about me, because that's their story, and I have no idea what they're thinking. And that helps me, be around people a little bit better, without judging how somebody's treating me or act or talking to me, or, because when I was younger, I had this big hang up on respect and how people showed respect. And it got in my way. It got in my way a lot of the time. Black Santa. Yeah, man. Dropping off gifts, baby. Let's go. So, yeah, man. The chat is live. It's been a friendly chat so far. Good to see you guys. If anybody has any triggers, we got a few more minutes. This is a 30-minute live stream. I'd like to tap in with you in the morning. This is the Triggered Coffee live stream. Talking about my triggers, talking about what's coming up. It's been an interesting year so far, but it's been good for me. I've been really motivated to continue to figure out the streaming, figure out my social media, my YouTube, my Instagram, which is Instagram is Yoga Leroy Got Jokes. Go follow the kid. Um, Started this live stream show. This has been the first show that I've been producing at my Yoga Leroy studio, the studio that I built in my backyard. It's called Comedy Fitness Live. My boy Bryce Jarrett, who was on the show Sunday, hilarious dude, killed it at hosting. I was so impressed with this young man. He's doing a show. This is going to be the second produced show in Yoga Leroy Studios. It's going to be a live show. Live stream show is called I Must Confess. And comics are going to pull up and tell confessional stories and be judged. So that's going to be extremely entertaining and extremely fun. That's going to be on February 7th. We're going to stream it live here at Yoga Leroy Studio. You are bringing the presence. Thanks for the wisdom. Absolutely, Avery. Thanks for the shout out. Absolutely. All right, we got about 5 more minutes. If anybody has a burning desire, any triggers, drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it. We got 5 minutes. Um, I'm I'm locked and loaded today. Got a lot of things planned. I need to get back on the sketches, man. I got to really bang out some more sketches. I've had some father son sketches do pretty well on on YouTube. No, on Instagram. Man, there's so many of these. So many of these social media platforms, man. You can't even keep up these days, baby. Back to San Diego on Sunday. I am back to San Diego. I got booked again at the Laugh Factory, and man, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed to be going down there. I get to stretch my legs. You know, last year I started selling cars, and it completely took me out of the game. So I really didn't do a lot of stand up comedy in 2025 because I was working at a full time job selling cars. Talk about a triggering experience, man. Selling cars was wild. It was an experience, you know. It was a full time job. I was working 10 to 12 hours a day, so I didn't have really any time to get on stage. So I'm like really knocking off the rust and feeling a lot of anxiety when I'm on stage, feeling a lot of performance anxiety. I've talked about that before, um, which is one of the things that triggered me the most about this dude being so hateful because you don't know what other people are going through. And when you do that, when you hate like that, you're showing the world that you don't care. You don't care what other people are going through. I don't believe that I don't believe that we as human beings are built to have a system of not caring about each other. That's why I always try to show love to young comics, no matter what's going on with me. I know how difficult it is to get on stage and try to be funny in front of strangers. And anybody that does it and works at it and works at it and works at it and develops an act is a comedian. So the fact that this person said that everybody on the show wasn't comedians, didn't have the right to share the stage with him, that was wrong, bro. But we all make mistakes, man. And, you know, if he wants to talk it out, I'm willing to have a conversation. I am willing to have a conversation, man. And that's really what it is. I love when I have a theme because this 30 minutes goes by so fast. The chat was friendly today, man. I love when the chat is friendly, man. It's probably because I was talking about something and the trolls were like, "Oh, he's actually talking about something boring." Yeah, man, the chat was friendly. I got another 45 seconds. Anything. Bueller. All right, man, listen. Thanks for pulling up. Avery42069, thanks for pulling up in the chat. Mel, thanks for pulling up in the chat. Subscribe to the channel. I'm here every morning at 9 a.m. Triggered Coffee, talking about triggers, talking about what's coming up, talking about high process and how I move through things in a healthier way than what I've done in my past because I've made some mistakes, man. And I've learned from those mistakes and I'm just hoping to share what I've learned with my community and help people along the way. All right, guys, thank you for pulling up. Have a blessed, beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.